Hare Krishna and welcome to the Bhakti Vrksa at the home of Neelal and Bhakti Shah. We'll start with a kirtan. Let me just switch off this. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitya Go Premanande. Hari Bol. So welcome once again to the Bhakti Wish program, and I see some new faces today. So let's do a quick round of introductions here. So I'm Shraddha Devi Dasi from Foster City, and this is my husband, Rakesh Prabhu, whom you'll never see because he's behind the camera. And then moving over to this side,
Radha Krishna, South City.
Kusum Patel. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Vanamali Das from Burlingame
Hare Krishna,
and beyond.
from Bilbray.
Siji Amar Bolo Mali.
Shraddha Dasi from South San Francisco.
Finu from South San Francisco.
Deepti from San Mateo.
And one more, right?
Yeah,
What happened to you?
Archana is
Okay, fine, yeah. So Prabhu, we'll start the lecture at 7:30. It's 7:08 right now, so can you have some?
Okay, sure, yeah. Prabhuji, I think I'm on number 6, right? Which is pipe organ.
So,
Am I right?
What do you
Nishkam
want?
Mataji, do you
Pipe
play
organ,
kartal?
06.
Can you play kartal? Can you play kartal?
Yeah, I can do
I'm on
You
that.
have kartal with you?
Yeah, they're in there.
ये tone है ना? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Is it coming?
Yeah, it's good. No, put it on 909. 09, put it on accordion, that's better. Yeah, it sounds good.
Accordion is better, more like harmonium.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानार्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति सपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगुणा रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं स्वाद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे नाम हरे नामैव केवलं कलौ नास्त्यैव नास्त्यैव गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal
Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Radha Raman Hari Govinda 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 Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal 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 Jaya Jaya
Radha Raman Hari Govinda 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 Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal 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 Jaya Jaya
Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
few more devotees join us. We already done introductions actually, so if the three of you can quickly introduce yourself.
Okay.
And starting with me.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Mayank. I live in San Mateo, and really feel very wonderful to come here every once in a while. So thank you so much, Pathaji, for arranging this. Yeah, it's wonderful to have the association of devotees.
Very good. Welcome.
Hare Krishna. My name is Suyash. We just live nearby. We're happy to be here after a long time.
And your wife's name?
Manasi. She's my wife, Manasi.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we will we'll start the session today. With thanks to Radha Krishna Prabhu for the wonderful kirtan. And we'll start with going on the bank of the Ganges River in Hastinapur, where Parikshit Maharaj is sitting on the banks, and he has been sentenced to die in 7 days. And Sukhdev Goswami, the 16-year-old Sukhdev Goswami is there. And Parikshit Maharaj asked 2 questions. One is that what is the duty of a man who's about to die, because he's going to die in 7 days. And then he also wants to know that what a person should be doing in general. And then Sukhdev Goswami replies that a person at the time of death, Ante Narayan Smriti. So at the time of death, it's a nice topic I started right on the weekend. So at the time of death, you should be remembering the Lord, Ante Narayan Smriti. You should be thinking about the Lord. And then what should you be doing the rest of your life? Rest of your life you should be spending in Shrotavya Kirtitavya. So you should be listening about Krishna and you should be talking about Krishna. Because once you do that and you're conditioned throughout your life to do that, then there are chances that you will think about Krishna at the time of death. So then, as we progress in the Srimad Bhagavatam, he continues to talk about how a person will go and realize who God is and recognize who God is. And he talks about the first step in God realization, which is, he says that people can look and see God around themselves. So you look at the nature, and so when you find God in that particular manner and in that particular form, that has got a special name. What is that name? What is that name of that form of the Lord that you see in nature?
Purusha.
Purusha. Which Purusha? Virat Purusha, right? Yeah. So Virat Purusha, and which is also called as the universal form of the Lord. Right? So universal form of the Lord is also described in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody knows which chapter it is? 11th chapter. Wow, very good. So I was thinking that we should read a little bit from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's always good to read from the Bhagavad Gita. And then we will go into chapter 20 from our book, which is on spiritual relationships today. Relationships are difficult to handle in this material world. but spiritual relationships are sweet. So, and what we see in this material world are perverted reflections of actual spiritual relationships. So they get messed up. Maybe we might have to share Bhagavad Gita's. I have got this one. I have got the online version.
We have enough, I think.
Mataji, will we read Sanskrit and English both?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I wanted you to read just this. That's just the translation.
Okay.
One verse each, and and we won't read the whole chapter. Actually, it's a big chapter. We will start at a particular verse, and then when I tell you to stop, then maybe it's time for us to stop. So there's a dual words there, 26, 27, on 11th chapter. And if everybody is there on the 11th chapter, then we can get going.
Page 446.
Page 446, who are following it on the... I'll also post it for those who are watching it online so that they know this is a verse they can follow along. So, Peninsula. Okay. Alright, so Neera Prabhu, if you can get started.
all the sons of Dhritarashtra along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter into your blazing mouths.
One each. Yeah. Radhakrishna 29.
29.
Yeah.
Just the English. Huh?
Just the translation. Yeah.
I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as mouths dash to destruction in a blazing fire.
Oh
I
Vishnu,
have different books. Okay. 11.30. I can show.
We're reading from 11.30. Yeah, give her that.
No, I'll take this. 11:30.
O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays.
Okay. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primeval Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Number 32, translation. Can you read what?
Oh, me?
No, Mataji. Next to you.
32.
32 you.
You
You
are-
get to read.
Oh, I get to read.
Yes, you
of
do.
course. Since you're new, you get to read too. Okay, how about that?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the world, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight.
Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows.
Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected being offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done.
O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation.
You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate century of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you.
You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again.
Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all the sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything.
Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Jadava. O my friend, not knowing your glories, please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses.
You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power?
You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, or a friend tolerates the impertinence of a friend, or a wife tolerates the familiarity of her partner, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done to you. I may have done you.
45.
After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am leadened, but at this time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again you from the personality of Godhead. O Lord, O abode of the universe.
O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I showed you my internal potency, this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence.
Good, we'll stop there. And I want you to also go to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we'll pick a verse from there. But before we go there, let's look at what was happening to Arjuna. You read these few verses there, right? So what are his feelings? What is he expressing?
Even though he was seeing the universal form, he was afraid of Krishna.
So fear was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And wonder at the same time.
Fear and wonder.
Simply in awe.
He's awe. Okay, he's simply in awe, right?
He was seeking for his offenses which he may have done.
Regrets. Yeah. See, he needs some regrets also. So you see, there's a whole bunch of emotions that are going, and most of his expressions and his feelings are to do with and are depicting that he's in a subordinate position to Krishna, right? So let's go to first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and which is called Observing the Armies, right? And there is one dual verse there also, which is 21 and 22. So let's go to 21 and 22 if somebody can give the number.
Page 44.
Yeah. And so next person, if they can read, where we stop. Manmali Prabhu, is that?
Is this on this verse here, right?
Yeah, just the translation.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
Okay. So here you see Arjuna is in a very different mood, right? As compared to chapter 11. Chapter 11. It's a very different Arjuna that you see in chapter 1. And so he's almost ordering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So it's a very different relationship that he has with Krishna, at least in the beginning. And so these kind of things can be said by, a friend can say that, a parent can say that to a small child, right? Or even a spouse can say to the other person, like order them to do something. and but a servant will not say that. So definitely he's not in a mood of serving Krishna. He's actually Krishna to serve him. Actually, it's a very different thing, right? And what does Krishna think about his relationship? So this is Arjuna showing you different types of relationships that he has with Krishna. But what does Krishna say? He says that in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and which is verse number 3.
That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand a transcendental mystery of this science.
Right? So he's saying that you are my friend, right? So there's a friendly relationship that is there. Okay? So now we've read a little bit of that from the Bhagavad Gita. Now we can go and look at our sheet. 20 on spiritual relationships.
And everyone, please feel free to take this home. We won't do anything with the 20.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good to keep them, a collection of them at your home so that you can refer to them. It's very good material that the Bhakti Vish team has prepared. So one of the things that we have to understand is what is our relationship with Krishna, and that we have a relationship, and there's an eternal relationship that we have. We forget that relationship, and recently one of my good friends actually shared a message or a quote from His Holiness Sachinananda Swami Maharaj on chanting. So what he says there is that, oh my Lord, because my relationship with you is broken, that is why when I do chanting, when I chant the holy name, like sit down and chant the Maha Mantra, I'm able to only offer you broken names. The broken name is like, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hare, like we do, right? So the name is all broken. Or Hare Krishna, and then you start thinking about your office. So that string is broken. So it's all completely broken. And he's saying that, why? Because my relationship with you has been broken, and I've started a relationship with someone else, and which is this material world. Right? So we have to go back and find out our original relationship, which is there, and that is what is going to make us happy, because we are not happy in this material world, are we? Unless we are having prasadam.
Or association.
Or association. There you go. Very true. Okay. So Krishna tells Arjuna, I'm reading the first paragraph. Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text number 3, that he's relating the supreme secret of the knowledge about God, the living entity, and their mutual relationship to him, Arjuna, because he is his devotee and his friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say that he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Supreme Person. As soon as one becomes a devotee of Krishna, he also has a direct relationship with the Supreme Person. That is a very elaborate subject matter, but briefly it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of the 5 different ways. One may be a devotee in a passive state, Shantaras, which is neutrality. One may be a devotee in an active state, Dasyaras, servitude. One may be a devotee as a friend, Sakhyaras, friendship. One may be a devotee as a parent, Vatsalyaras, parental affection. And one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover, Madhuryaras, which is conjugal love. Leela Prabhu, if you can continue. Reading from the next. We'll each do one paragraph each.
So Arjuna was in a relationship with the Supreme Personality Krishna as friend. Of course, there is a gulf of difference between this friendship and the friendship found in the material world. This is transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Everyone has a particular eternal relationship with the Supreme Divine Krishna, and that relationship is evoked by the perfection of devotional service. That is called Swarupa. But in the present status of our life, not only have we forgotten Krishna, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with him. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarup, and that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi, the perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee, and he was in touch with the Supreme Personality in friendship.
loving reciprocation between Krishna and his devotees. The relationship between the Supreme Divine and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to Krishna, and similarly Krishna is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master of all circumstances.
In the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, can perfectly reciprocate one's loving propensities in different relationships called melos or rasas. Basically, there are 12 loving relationships, 5 of which are primary. One can love Krishna as the Supreme Unknown, as the Supreme Master, the Supreme Friend, the Supreme Child, and the Supreme Lover, as already described above.
The devotees surcharged with ideas of their respective service serve Krishna eternally and ultimately reach the goal of their respective ideals. They attain the real nature of their self, befitting their respective rasas. Those who are advocates of Shantaras attain the neutral roles of trees, water, flowers, and serve silently in meditation. Those who are in Dasyaras engaged in varieties of services. Those in Sakhyaras treat Krishna equally just as they treat one another, and they are never afraid of him, nor do they ever beg his pardon. The cowherd boyfriends sometimes ride on Krishna's shoulders. Those in Vatsalyaras like Mother Yashoda and Nanda shower parental affection upon Krishna by feeding, maintaining, protecting, and caring. The gopis are the topmost amongst all devotees. They are in Madhuryaras, conjugal love, with Krishna and enjoy the most intimate relationships with Krishna.
Goloka Vrindavan is the highest planet in the spiritual world. Krishna enjoys various loving relationships by the manifesting the 64 arts like singing, playing instrument, dancing, painting, splashing water sports, setting ornaments, solving riddles, etc. In order to go there, one has to be penetrate the cover of the material universe, penetrate the Brahma Jyoti effulgence, and the one reaches this supreme abode. In the Brahma Jyoti, there are also the planet that called Vaikuntha planet. One has to become a pure devotee of Krishna by understanding Bhagavad Gita like Arjuna to be noticed by him and transported to his abode.
The intimate love of Rajam Asas for Krishna. Just as when you heat sugar with water, it becomes very viscous. Gradually it becomes more and more thicker, and eventually candy, and then rock candy. Similarly, in dealings between Krishna and the devotee, there are different platforms of loving exchange.
According to the Upanishad, all living entities are dependent on Supreme Living Entity, the personality of Godhead. As it is said in Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, Nityo Nityam Chetanas Chetanam Eko Guhyam Yo Vedanti
Vidhati.
Sorry, Guruji, what did you say?
Vidadhati Kama.
Vidadhati Kama. One eternal living entity supports all the other eternal living entities. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains all the other living entities, they remain subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead even when joined with him in the reciprocation of loving affairs.
The Vrindavan pastimes demonstrated that although generally people worship God with reverence, the Supreme Person is more pleased when a devotee thinks of him as his pet son, personal friend, or most dear fiancé, and renders service unto him with such natural affection. Krishna becomes a subordinate object of love in such transcendental relationships.
In the course of exchanging transcendental love of the highest purity, sometimes the subordinate devotee tries to predominate over the predominator. One who loving engages with the Supreme Divine as if he were his mother or father, sometimes supersedes the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, his fiancé or lover sometimes supersedes the position of Krishna. But such attempts are exhibition of the highest love. Only out of pure love does the subordinate lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead chide him. Krishna, enjoying this chiding, takes it very nicely. This exhibition of natural love makes such activities very enjoyable. In worship of the Supreme with veneration, there is no manifestation of such natural spontaneous love because the devotee considers Krishna as his superior.
So reflections. What you read.
I think personal relation with Krishna, right? He wants us to see him as a friend or as a pet son or like a personal relationship with him.
Very good, and I'm also catching on the term personal relationship, because you're thinking of having a relationship. If you are a person, and if you have a relationship, then the other party also has got to be a person, right? You can't have a relationship with energy like that. So that also shows that that Krishna is a person. Yeah.
This is actually the goal of all our chanting.
There you
is
go.
to relationship.
Absolutely,
Until
yes.
and unless we come to this platform of knowing what relationship, what rasa we have with Krishna, we have not come to perfection.
And what is that term for that? They mentioned that term here. That
Swarup.
Swarup, right? To find out what your Swarup is. And just continuing on that thought is that don't try to rush the Swarup, try to find what your Swarup is and to say, like, I want to know who am I in Golok Vrindavan. Am I a peacock over there, or am I, who am I? Because this body could be different and your Swarup could be different, right? Ultimately. So don't rush to it. There are people who might come and tell you that you are this and that, but it doesn't happen like that. Nobody just comes and tells you that you are this and that. It'll be revealed to yourself, gradually over a period of time as you continue to become a pure. Because they have mentioned at several places that you have to be a pure devotee of the Lord. So who is a pure devotee of the Lord? Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam ka anukulyana krishnanu. So pure devotional service is that when you are anya abhilashita shunyam. Anya abhilasha is desire. So when you are, shunyam means zero. So when you're zero on any other material desires, any other desires, you don't have, I want this, I want that, I want promotion, I want a car, I want a bungalow. Nothing like that. So anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi. So not even gyan, not even this that I want to memorize Bhagavatam, I want to understand this, I want to be able to explain Ishopanishads to everybody and things like that. Jnana karmadi, or not even any kind of, I run these projects and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Not even that. Jnana karmadi anavritam doesn't have any of that. But devotional service is anukulyena krishnanu. So it is something which is favorable. Whatever activities that you do, he can come in. So whatever activities that you do is well, we always try. So whatever activities that you do have to be favorable to Krishna. For example, you said that you have to be chanting all the time, right? So there are people who were chanting the names of Krishna, but they were not doing it favorably. Can you give me some examples of that? Kans was doing that, right? All the time. Where is Vishnu? I'm going to kill him. Where is Vishnu? I'm going to kill him. Where is Vishnu? I'm going to kill him. Saying Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu all the time, right? I mean, of course, the names of the Lord are very powerful, so they will have their own effects, but they will not have the right effects. It's a slow process that you have. Because Krishna is like that. What Krishna does is that when you perform an act, there is the act and then there is an intention behind doing that particular act. And look at the mercy of Krishna. So when you are doing a particular act and your intentions are right, but you're doing the act in a wrong way, right? And that is an example of that would be Vidura, right? Yes, and Shabri. So Vidura is what happened to Vidura. Krishna goes to his home all of a sudden for lunch. And so Vidura is completely overwhelmed. He doesn't know what to do. Suddenly the Supreme Personality of Godhead has come into his home. And so both he and his wife are overwhelmed, and then they have some bananas, and they take out the bananas they want to offer. And of course, they don't want Krishna to peel the bananas himself, so they say, okay, I'm going to peel them. So that's a very nice way, and I'm going to give him the peeled bananas. Except for the problem is that, instead of giving him the bananas, peeled bananas, they start giving him the peels, like that. And they're throwing away the banana, they're giving him the peel. But Krishna, looks at the intention and at the loving gestures of his devotee, that he's nicely eating the peels also, until Vidura realizes what he's doing. So Krishna in this case, he looked at the intention, but he ignored the act, which was apparently a wrong act. Right?
This plays out in the material world too, as from a lawyer's perspective.
From the lawyer's perspective, you're a lawyer.
There's what is called actus reus and mens reus. You
Yeah.
may be doing some action, but if you don't have the evil intention, you cannot be guilty of that crime.
Yeah.
So most important thing is the mens rea, and there is the intent to do something, or you do something with knowledge. That is sufficient to get you over the hump for criminality.
Exactly.
Rather than just doing the action without.
Yeah. So I did it out when temporary insanity versus cold-blooded
Those
planning.
are actually defenses.
Yeah, there are defenses people use. Yeah. So Krishna does love. Everything comes from Krishna. Love also, yeah. I mean, it's so fine that when you start going into devotional service, you start seeing the parallels. Like, the world, it's pretty messed up in material world these days. Otherwise, you see a direct connection, with Krishna and scriptures everywhere. And on the other hand, the intention was bad, but the action was good. So intention was bad, action was good. Is Putana, Her intentions were completely bad, right? Wrong. She came to kill Krishna. So she's a demoness, and she comes as dressed as a beautiful lady, and the mood in Gokula was that Krishna was there. Everybody loved Krishna so much. Mothers would come and they would just pet Krishna and all that. So when this beautiful lady comes, they are all just thinking, well, she's also a nurse, and she comes and she wants to feed Krishna. So she has smeared her breast with poison and she tries to kill Krishna, but Krishna sucks the life air out of her. So apparently to us it looks like, he punished Putana. And so who's Putana's brother? She comes from an illustrious family.
Kamsa.
Last birth it was Bali Maharaj.
Yeah, no, in that verse when she comes to kill Krishna. Another famous one, Bakasura. You heard of Bakasura? Yeah, that's why she's also known as Baki. This is Baka and Baki. So she's coming from a family of all the bad ones. So she goes. So apparently to us it looks like he killed her, right? She falls on, but she goes back. She goes to Vrindavan. She goes to Goloka, not Goloka, Vaikuntha Lokas, and she goes there and she becomes a Dhatri. Dhatri is a nurse. She goes there and she's like that because what Krishna did is he ignored the intention and just looked at the act. She acted like my mom, like my mother. She tried to feed me. That is good enough for Krishna. So that is what Krishna does, But don't just test his mercifulness. Just stay on the right path. I mean, these are rare things that happen, and of course, she was something else in her previous birth and so on. So there's a lot that goes on in all these nice stories that we have.
She doesn't go to Guru? You said she goes to Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha planets, yeah.
Does it say where and in what? Because in Vaikuntha the Lord does not perform his childhood pastimes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering.
But she's still there, yeah. But she goes only to the Vaikuntha planet, not to Golak, because there's not 100% there, right? The intentions were not right. Because pure devotional service has got to be anukulina Krishna. This was not anukul to Krishna. It was slightly, I mean, not slightly, I would say 90% was bad, like that. So anukulina Krishnanu, Shilanam Bhakti. Shilanam is that you have to do some service. So you can't be in the neutral mode and say, okay, fine, I don't have anything to do. I'm not saying anything bad against Krishna, and I'm not doing any jnana, I'm not doing any karma also, I don't have any desires, so I'll just sit. No. Bhakti is active service. And so you have to, that's why when Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukdev Goswami what is the job of a person to do, so he said Shotavya Kirtitavyascha, because if you do go, and Krishna says in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that who is most dear friend of him, who is the person whom he likes the most. He says that he likes the person. Yeah, apart from Radharani, like amongst us. Yeah. He says the one who explains this secret to others, right? And one who preaches. So Krishna, those are his dearmost friends. Like I think 18.69, I think that's what he says, that the one who explains all this to others. So we should also, so there has to be some active service, right? Active service, go to the temple and do something, or host a Bhakti Vrksa over here, or teach it, distribute books and all that. So you can't be just neutral and say that I'm just going to stay here. So Bhakti always involves doing something. So there'll be some service. Yeah, I can just close my eyes and say, well, I'm doing Bhakti because I'm not doing any of the other above things, right? So every now and then there was a mention of doing some pure devotional service. The pure devotees will get to find their relationship. Yeah, tell me more. What else did you gather from the reading?
Reciprocation. From Krishna, it is always reciprocation.
Very good. Yeah. So it's a reciprocal relationship. You just can't relationships cannot be just one-sided, I mean, although sometimes people have that, you watch in sometimes some of the Bollywood and Hollywood movies, like, there's a hero, he loves the girl doesn't know. Like we call that as a one-sided relationship. And it's miserable. But the good thing is that Krishna reciprocates. And how much does he reciprocate? You take one step towards Krishna and he does what? He takes 10 steps towards you. So that's the, that's the extent to which he reciprocates. Okay. What else?
I think it's just like one develops skill sets for a job. Similarly, one has to develop various loving relationships by manifesting 64 arts, which is like singing and everything Krishna loves.
Right.
So maybe developing those increases our chances.
Right. And actually, those for those of you who are interested, those 64 arts are actually mentioned in the Brahma Samhita, and I brought it up. It's in verse number 37 of Brahma Samhita. I don't think we have that book, but and it goes on to 64. The list goes on pages and pages and pages of Brahma Samhita. I remember when we used to read back in the temple on Saturday mornings, each one of us would read like 6 translations, and when we came to 37, for you read the translation, and then everybody would like, there's so many pages to turn. It was like, no, go to 73, or something, maybe it was 73, like that. So there are 64 artistic activities you do. So through art also, yes, you get to attain Krishna. Yeah, good, very good. What else are your observations?
Mataji, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
It says that one can love Krishna as supreme unknown. What is that? Or supreme master, supreme friend, supreme child, and supreme government. What is supreme?
The supreme unknown is there is so much of awe and reverence that I can't understand
like
Krishna.
Universal form.
The universal form, or his energy, he's a supreme extreme, like I don't know. Like the boss, the big boss in the office, how much do I know about him? Not much,
Kind of
except
like
for the fact that
Shantaras.
he's The first one is the Shantaras. Yeah. So in Shantaras there is a lot of awe and reverence. Just awe, and so you see that what is the original relationship that Arjun has, or the eternal relationship that Arjun has with Krishna among these 5 that I just read?
Friends.
He's like a friend, right? But in Bhagavad Gita, what happened to him? From the friendship, he went into which mood?
Neutrality.
Yeah, sometimes Dasya, sometimes Shanta, right? Oh my God, you're this, you're that. I'm going to pay obeisances to you, obeisances to you. So you have to find your original thing. His original was he's my friend. And so when Krishna agreed to become his chariot driver, so you know what happens in a war? There is so much of noise. When there are so many Akshauhini armies are there, right? And Akshauhini has got thousands of elephants and thousands of horses and tens of thousands of people. Some are on chariots, some are on the ground, and everybody is shouting like, here, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this. There's a lot of sound, a lot of noise there. So in the noise of the war, if you're trying to give instructions to other person, they can't hear. Even if you are the chariot driver and you're sitting on the same chariot, you can't hear. So if you are somebody's chariot driver, then the person who's in the chariot, he has to give the direction, turn the chariot to the left, turn the chariot to the right, stop the chariot now, this and that. So how does he do that? He takes his foot and he puts on the back of the person, and then depending on where he's putting the foot. So Arjuna was constantly kicking Krishna in the Mahabharata. So that is the magnanimity of the Lord, which you also read over here, that he will he really likes to serve. So that's the extent to which Krishna was serving his friend. And Arjuna is just his friend. And he agrees to take the kick on his back. And Arjuna is doing it nicely. Why? Because he's the friend. That's the thing, that's the mellow, that's the rasa of a friendly relationship.
But
you get away with saying
even
it.
after having the knowledge, right, that he's supreme, he still does it.
Yeah, and did you
Because
notice
the
that?
knowledge then goes to the background
Yes.
and the intimacy comes forward.
Yes, and he says that at the end, when we stopped on the 11th chapter, he says, I don't like this form of yours. Show me again the 400 form. Because again, he's going to his natural. Because you are always most comfortable in your natural position. So he tries to come back to his natural position, says, show me the 400 form, and then he feels very happy, right? And of course,
400 form is also not natural.
yeah, and then Krishna shows him the 200 after that as well, yeah. So he shows that.
I think a 4-1.
But compared to, the universal form, I'll take the 400 form. Yeah. The 400 form is beautiful, right? The 400 form is beautiful. So he wants a beautiful, not like, he's got teeth and, he's chewing people's heads and, there's fire coming out. So like that,
And so you forget what is Godhood. When you become intimate with Krishna, you forget that he's God, actually.
I mean, when he's playing with his koalas, when he's playing with his with the koalas, I mean, they play with Krishna, and sometimes Krishna wins and sometimes Krishna loses, and if you lose, then you have to carry the other person on your shoulder, and then when Krishna loses, he will just stop and say, wait a minute, my mom is calling me. And then his friends will say, no, you can't do that, Krishna. You have to finish, you have to carry us on our back. So he will say that. And that's friendship, that's friendship. Even higher than that. So we see that we start from neutral, awe and reverence, obeisances to you, I don't have to do it. And you'll find in some of the religions, that's the only relationship that you have with God, complete awe and reverence. You don't do this, he's going to come and, chew you with his mouth like that. But luckily for us, we have 5 others that, the other relationship that we can choose from the 5. So Dasya is the servitude. And if you turn a little further to page number 165, they have actually got very nice examples. Okay, so on Shantya neutrality, they're also giving you what are the activities that people will do. So they will do meditation and worship of Brahman and Paramatma, and they will appreciate Krishna. They could also be appreciating Krishna's beauty. Just sit there and appreciate, do nothing. And full attachment to Krishna. Examples of Shantarasa are Sukhdev Goswami, Bilva Mangal, 4 Kumaras, and Nava Yogendra. Shantaras. Then Dasya or servitude is menial service, prayers, obeisances, fanning, carrying umbrella, supplying betel, cleaning clothes, etc. Full attachment to Krishna's service, they're attached to doing service because that's what a Das does. Brahma, Daruka, Uddhav, Pradyumna and Bhishma are in the mood of Dasya. Sakhya is friendship, where you'll joke, you will fight, you will play, you'll massage, counseling, you will relaying confidential messages, singing and dancing all together with friendship. So full attachment to Krishna's service, but there is a relaxed intimacy there, right? That relaxed intimacy is not there in the Dasya because he's still he's the master there. So Sudama, Arjun, Bhim, Ujjvala, are there. Vatsalya is the parent, bathing, dressing, decorating. You bring the Laddu Gopal in your home, and then you take care of the Laddu Gopal. So it's pure Vatsalya ras. Chastising because you close, and it was mentioned in the readings that you were doing of how in the Vatsalya ras, Krishna sometimes likes to become somebody's son and he likes to be scolded. And the classic example is that we sing every Kartik or the Damodar Ashtakam, we sing how Yashoda is, running after Krishna with a stick in his hand. Namami Shvaram Satchidanand Rupam, right? That song. So it talks very beautifully about how, and she doesn't know at all. So Yashoda Mata, Nanda Maharaj, Devaki, Vasudev, Kunti, Rohini, Sandipan Muni, his teacher, right, is also there. And so actually, the guru, the relationship between a guru and a disciple is that of a parental relationship. So your guru is your parent, like your father, right? So in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjun surrenders to Krishna, Karpanya dosho pahat sabhava prichami tam dharma samhuda cheta yachreyan tam nishchitam buhitanne shishyaste ham shadi mam tam prapannam. So he's just saying that, I am a confused soul, I don't know what I should do. I am now a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So when he's saying, please instruct me, then he has gone into a guru and a disciple relationship. So now he's doing that relationship, like, please you tell me. But originally he's a friend, right, of Krishna. That is his original swarup, but he can manifest other aspects of that as well. Then we have
also consider Mataji to be Dasya relationship.
can also be can also be but yeah.
Mataji, I have a question. The yogis, they will also fall in Shankaras.
Yes. Yeah, meditation.
Because they
Yes.
meditate on
Meditation.
impersonal Brahman.
And so when you are doing the Shantarasa, usually the Shantarasa is on the 4-handed forms of Krishna, as you were mentioning, and the others are on on the 2-handed forms or other incarnations of Krishna. For example, another famous Dasya of Krishna, a very famous Dasya of Krishna is Hanuman, right? But in which mood? He is the Dasya of Ram, who is an incarnation of Krishna. So you can have that like that.
Just one comment here. So this yogis, you mentioned the word yogis. So this is Santaras in favorable attitude.
Yes,
to it.
very right.
This
Not
is
just-
Brahmavadi.
yes.
This is not
Yeah.
Mayavad.
Yeah. not
Mayavad is one who denies the form of Krishna, is inimical to her. They don't want to accept that God has
So
a
while
form.
they are meditating on the personal form.
Yeah,
Not on
400.
the personal.
They are, but their ultimate goal may be to actually merge with. So they may be Brahmavadis, and some may be Mayavadis, but the Mayavadis don't actually. The maximum they can attain is the Brahma.
Yes, and a very good point that you bring in here is that those who are impersonalists or Mayavadis. So impersonalist is still better because impersonalist just says that I don't believe in the form, right? And Mayavadi says that I am actually also God. It's just that I'm under the control of Maya right now, which itself denies the definition of God, because if God is super powerful, then how can Maya control God, right? So they are the ones. So if you are a Mayavadi and you have to meditate, so for meditation you need some objects, and they are very open. They say you can meditate on anything. I can meditate on this camera, I can meditate on this. If you like to have a form, they tell that you can meditate on 5 of them. Vishnu,
Surya,
Krishna,
Durga.
Shiva, Durga, and Ganesh, and like that. So there are 5 there. So that idea is that you are just using them as an anchor, right? Till you realize that you're God, and after that you can drop it. Then you don't have to meditate, you don't have to do anything like that, right? Whereas here, what we are talking about is that the moment you find your Sarup, your devotional service continued. It's an eternal relationship. So you'll continue to do that forever. It's not that, now I have found my relationship with Krishna, okay, tata, bye. Now that I found that I'm Krishna's mother, then you better take care of Krishna. Or if I found that I'm Krishna's Dasya, then you have to do something for Krishna. So once you find that, then you got a job description. And then you continue to work on that. So, and one more point I'll bring out, but I just wanted to finish this thing here. The Madhurya, or the conjugal rest, exchange of glances and sweet smiles, dancing, kissing, embracing, talks and arguments. Arguments also, right? Full attachment to Krishna's service, relaxed intimacy, maintenance and offering the body. Radharani, Rukmani, Satyabhama, all Krishna's, wives there are there in the conjugal
There's
relationship.
also 2 categories under this: Swakya and Parakya. Under
Yeah.
Madhurya.
Yeah, too little early then, yeah. So I also wanted to tell you one thing is that, as you see that there is a gradual elevation of this rasa or of these relationships. And so like if you say Shantras is at the bottommost and then Madhurya Ras is at the top. And so if you find that, once you realize your Sarupa and you realize that, what, I'm actually Krishna's friend. And then you might say, oh, I never reached the topmost thing. I was supposed to be in Madhurya Ras. And most of the Gaudiya Sampradaya is in the Madhurya Ras, so, I missed out on something. Now the beauty of this is that whatever Sarup that you are in, that takes you to the complete satisfaction, whatever your actual Sarup is. Like, so if you are Yashoda, if you are Krishna's mom, you ask Yashoda that, do you want to become a gopi? She'll say, no. I don't want to become a gopi. I don't want to dance. I don't want to dance with Krishna. I love doing what I'm doing. I am the mother, right? That's one thing. Second,
Question, Mataji. It also changes, right? Like for how Arjuna it changed, right? From
but there is an original thing, but
Yeah.
which leads to the next point that I'm going to say is that as these relationships are going up in the hierarchy, the higher level includes the lower level. The higher level includes the lower level. And let's take an example.
And although there might be some flux, what is called sthai bhav, there is one constant relationship with Krishna that is prominent.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
And that's why they use the term eternal, right? In the narration, it is to find out that eternal relationship. And we also have to remember that Arjuna and Krishna are acting the Bhagavad Gita for our understanding and our pleasure. So let's take the example of a friend, right? So as a friend, you're friendly, you play with your friends, right? You joke with your friends and you're just playing. Would you someday, if your friend is sick, will you also go and do some service for the friend? But isn't that Dasya Bhav? Right? So Dasya Bhav is included in the friendly friend relationship, right? Then you go above to the Vatsalya, so there are parents, right? So parents will take care of you. Will parents ever joke with you? They might have jokes, right? Will they serve you? They will serve you also. So Vatsalya Bhav includes the Sakya Bhav and as well as the Dasya Bhav. If you go even further up to the Madhurya Bhav, right? Madhurya Ras. So if you love somebody, like if you love your spouse, that's Madhurya Ras, right? So in the relationship between a spouse, so there is love, intimacy is there, but is there friendship?
Yes.
There is friendship there as well, right? Is there Vatsalya? Is there Vatsalya there? Does the wife mother the husband sometimes? Does he scold him sometimes? Right? So there is Vatsalya there also. So higher ras will include the lower rases as well, and that's why sometimes some of the lower rases will go and manifest themselves more clearly. But a lower ras is not supposed to have a higher rasa. What that means is that if you are somebody's parent, then you are the parent. You should not have conjugal relationship with your children. Right? So it doesn't go in the opposite direction. So you have to be careful with the lessons. Like that, right? Okay, what else?
We have to develop the mood of Brajvasis, the intimate love which they have for Krishna.
Yes. And that will come through devotional service. You have to keep on remembering that. So as we're going through all these rasas, as we go through all these rasas along the line, there was very nice analogy that was used to describe the hierarchy of the rasa and the sweets, the sugar candy, right? So highest is the rock candy, that mishri that you get, and that's the relationship that is there. Okay. What else?
So I feel this is actually a big secret of bhakti that not many people are aware of, right? That it is actually, bhakti means to make a relationship with Krishna.
Of course.
It's the fundamental pillar of bhakti yoga. So you must appreciate, I think, this concept.
Yes. And as you start progressing in devotional service, I mean, right now we are, at least I am at the lowest level where I'm just doing Vaidihi Bhakti, by for doing Bhakti from rules and regulations. Special Master has said, you do this, I do that. You just say, you do that, right? Sometime in the morning, not jumping out and saying, oh, I really want to chant Krishna's name. I'm dying to chant Krishna's name. It's not like that. And then slowly it will develop into, you will develop a relationship and a liking, the raga, attachment to doing devotional service. It will come spontaneously to you, raga no bhakti, like that. And then what you'll also do is that as your swarup starts to be revealed to you, you will start to follow somebody. Follow that particular person who belongs to the Golok Vrindavan or to Vaikuntha Loka. And internally you will follow and you will learn more and about them, but externally you won't do that. For example, Rupa Goswami, right? Rupa Goswami, who has written the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, which has got more on these rasas if you want to read that. Okay, so he is here. He came as a man, right? From the Golok Vrindavan. So in Golok Vrindavan there is Krishna, right? And then there are the gopis, and then gopis have got servants, and the servants are called. The servants of gopis have a particular name.
Manjaris.
Manjaris, right? So they are Manjari. So there is a Manjari, which means it's a female. There's a Manjari called Rupa Manjari. Her name is Rupa. So Rupa Manjari comes down to this earth as Rupa Goswami and tells you like that, right? So if you have a relationship in Golok Vrindavan and you are doing something with Rupa Manjari over there, right? So you will start following Rupa Goswami here, like that. So it comes at a much higher stage. But externally to all other people in the world, you will see Rupa Goswami will describe Rupa Goswami as a male and as a Goswami and one of the 6 Goswamis, and he has his teaching and things like that. But internally you will be able to see him as Rup Manjari. And slowly your relationship with Rup Manjari will get revealed to you. So it's a very nice promise. It's a beautiful thing, and these rasas are amazing. As Prabhupada says that mellow is the closest English word that I could use to describe rasa. Rasa is something even beyond that. it's very difficult to describe, and you feel that.
That realization actually comes while you are in the material world.
Yes.
Sometimes people say, and this is what I find very strange, oh, he chanted at the time of death, went back to Godhead. But unless this realization comes of who you are, you don't go back to Godhead. Actually, very clearly mentioned in Prabhupada's books that you follow in the footsteps of one of the Brijavasis, and then you take birth in a planet where Krishna is appearing, and then that is your last birth in the material world, and then you are transferred to the spiritual
Absolutely. And I call that apprenticeship, right? If you're going back to Golok and you have been here and you found your Sarup, now you're supposed to do something there because you found your job description, but there has to be some training, right? When you go and take a job. So that training is what he's mentioning as that, you just don't go straight back there, you will take birth in another planet where Krishna is following, doing his Rasa Leela, because Krishna's Rasa Leelas they are eternal, they never stop. This planet to that planet to that planet to this universe to that universe, it goes on continuously. So somewhere it's a Nitya Leela, that's why it's called Nitya Leela. Somewhere it's always already happening. So somewhere, it's a very nice thing it's a very nice feeling to just sit down and think that, because I always used to think that I was born 5,000 years late. I wish I was born 5,000 years before, and I would have participated, or because I was born 50 kilometers away from Vrindavan, so I would have been there and all that kind of stuff. I used to think that I missed it out. But then it's so nice to think that all these things that we are thinking about are actually happening. In some planet it is happening. In some planet Krishna right now is taking the cows out. He's playing with the cow herdman. Putana is doing her thing. So it goes on like
because
that.
There are unlimited universes, and in one of those universes, Krishna is performing his pastime. So he finishes his pastimes in one universe, then he goes in another universe. He appears and he performs.
And it's amazing, it's just amazing how he does that. Amazing that he does that. And he does all. Why does Krishna do Leelas? Why do you think Krishna does Leelas?
To give pleasure to his devotees.
Yeah. To give pleasure to his devotees. To give pleasures to devotees, and as well as to attract you to himself. Otherwise, if he doesn't do the Leelas, we won't be attracted, right? I mean, how much are we attracted to Albert Einstein, Maybe when we were reading the physics, we were attracted. Now he's gone, we're dead, right? But Krishna does his wonderful Leelas and does his wonderful things, and we feel, very good about that. Like that. Yeah, so we have 3 more minutes. What more? I was noticing, I really wanted all of you to also read the Sri Namamrita, because we have been ignoring this section for many, many sections there. Because one of the things I was mentioning was that once you realize your relationship, then you will do the service to Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna comes personally here. So if you can, do one more round of reading, and the lucky person gets the big paragraph, the first paragraph. Whoever is in the line, next line. Mataji, was it you?
Sri Namamrita. Lord Shri Krishna personally came as Lord Chaitanya in order to distribute the process of chanting, the easiest means in this age to the highest perfection of life. Out of many thousands of persons who are in self-knowledge as to what and who they are, only 1 or 2 may actually be liberated. And out of many thousands who are liberated, only 1 or 2 may understand what and who Krishna is. Are we taking turns?
You can continue.
So understanding Krishna is not such an easy job. Thus, in this age of Kali, an age characterized by ignorance and chaos, liberation is out of the reach of practically everyone. One has to go through the whole ordeal of becoming civilized, then religious, then one has to perform charities and sacrifices, and come to the platform of knowledge, then to the stage of liberation, and finally, after liberation, to the understanding of what Krishna is. Practically speaking, this process is not very easy in this age of Kali. In Srimad Bhagavatam, a description is given of the people of this age. Their duration of life is said to be very short. They tend to be phlegmatic and slow, and to sleep a great deal. And when they're not sleeping, they are very busy earning money. And the most they only have are 2 hours a day for spiritual activities. So what is the hope for spiritual understanding? It is also stated that even if one is anxious to make spiritual progress, there are many pseudo-spiritual societies to take advantage of him. People are also characterized in this age as being unfortunate. They have a great deal of difficulty meeting the primary demands of life, eating, defending, mating, and sleeping, necessities which are met even by the animals. Even if people are meeting these necessities in this age, They are always anxious about war, either defending themselves from aggressors or having to go to war themselves. In addition to this, there are always disturbing diseases and economic problems in Kali Yuga. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna considered that in this age it is impossible for people to come to the perfectional stage of liberation by following the prescribed rules and regulations. Thus, out of his causeless mercy, Sri Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and distributed the means to the highest perfection of life and the spiritual ecstasy by the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This process of chanting is most practical, and it does not depend on whether one is liberated or not, or whether one's condition is conducive to spiritual life or not. Whoever takes to this process becomes immediately purified. Therefore it is called pavitram, pure. Furthermore, if one who takes to this Krishna consciousness process, the seeds of latent reactions to his sinful actions are nullified, just as a fire turns whatever we put into it into ashes. This process turns to ashes all the sinful reactions of our past lives. Rajvidya, the king of knowledge.
Thank you. One thing which I found very hilarious in this narration was that in the beginning of the first chapter, where it says that one has to go through the whole ordeal, like I think 6 lines of becoming civilized. It says one has to go through the whole ordeal of becoming civilized, then religious, and then one has to perform charities and do other kind of things. Like how bad. And I remember Vaishika Prabhu once was talking, he was admiring Srila Prabhupada and how, and you might have something more to narrate, Banwali Prabhu as well. He said that somebody handled Prabhupada a piece of barfi. Mm-hmm. And he said that, so he took the barfi in his hand, and then he said that the way he was eating so nicely and nibbling at it, he would take a small bite of the barfi and then he hold it in his hand, he was talking to somebody, and then he would go and take another piece of barfi, and he was saying that here what we do is you get a piece of barfi and before you even know it, the whole barfi is in your mouth. And eat like that. So similar, he was admiring how civilized, even his mannerisms, Prabhupada was, yeah. So on that ground we will stop. It's 8:30, past 8:30 right now, so we will be happy to give a chance to Banmali Prabhu to do his kirtan today. Some kirtan, can you do some kirtan? And then let me ask, maybe 10 minutes of kirtan? 10 minutes of kirtan, I think will be good. 10 minutes on the board. And then prasadam prayers if you can do.
Okay. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Bhanja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Bhakta
Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol,
Hare Bol, Hare Bol,
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Very nice, thank you so much. So where is Neera Prabhu hiding? So thank you so much, those who are in the room, devotees in the room, for joining us, and a special thanks to Neeral Prabhu and Khyati Halaji, who once again opened their home and their hearts to us to have this Bhakti Vrksa, and you do it again and again with so much of love. So really appreciate that. And
We
thank
need
you.
association and prayers to continue. So
Very
thank
good.
you so much.
Absolutely, yeah, such a nice group that's coming up nowadays. And also for next week,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
are we going to have it in your place?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so next week we're going to have it in Suras and Manasi's place, same time. So you'll share.
Saturday.
Okay, Saturday, but same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 p.m. on Saturday at their place in South San
Pacifica.
Francisco.
South San Francisco.
Oh, you were moving, right? Are you
No,
moved or moving?
I'm already there.
You're already there. Okay, Pacifica. Okay. Yeah. So share your address information on the group so that you know where to come. So thank you again.
Also,
Thank you for
June 1st.
Yes.
we can
And then
do
coming
that.
up, we are having a flood of these.
Yeah, and then 1 week after that again our Bhakti Vrksa.
Yeah,
So,
Bhakti Vrksa. Very good. So
yeah, June 1st announcement.
so Mayank and Suman are going to host a kirtan at their home in San Mateo on 1st of June, and it's in the afternoon. What time is it?
It is from 2 to 5 p.m.
2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So please, everybody is invited. He
They
had
have some
already
good
posted-
mridanga players.
Yeah.
Two of them. I
Uh,
told Prashant Kodat Prabhu, he's also coming.
Oh, he's coming? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, because I really miss the Madana.
And then if we
Yeah,
can get
excellent.
Raj Prabhu's son, Tejas, that will be
Okay,
good.
so we can talk to Raj Prabhu and we can have
Raj
Tejas.
Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I told him by phone,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
but I'm not sure if his son can.
Yeah. We'll tell Raj Prabhu because we meet with him every week. I mean, I talk about him 3 days.
So
a week,
yeah,
but-
this is, I think, very special group of kirtaniyars
Yeah.
who do this kind of program every week in different parts of the Bay Area, and they are very famous. So it's a unique opportunity.
We just do it on the spot.
So, Prabhuji is actually his
So that's
part
more-
of
that's
it.
more
Dora
kirtan,
Prabhu
yeah,
organizes
yeah.
it. I sort of assist him in a humble way.
And I was just laughing when you said that, when you wrote the text and said, can I join? I was like, oh, of course, just go with the Das Group and he'll come out to you.
I didn't realize that he had already sent me an
Yeah.
invite. I thought this was a new program.
No, yeah. So there's more kirtan. There's a little Krishna Katha that we add, but there's more kirtan there. So you can sing away to glory and of course, then there's prasadam, something like that.
Anybody plays tabla here? No? Or do you know anybody?
Yeah, we know there's a tabla player. I know of a tabla player, but he doesn't play, yeah.
Sometimes
Doesn't
we
play all the time,
lack
yeah.
really good mridanga players.
Yeah.
And
Mridanga adds to the life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really nice. Keep
Well,
the meaning.
yeah. Anybody else planning, inspired by all this? Anybody wants to open their home in arms and do that? You can register.
We'll do a program in summer.
You'll do something in summers? Okay, very good.
Yeah,
Very
it
good.
is-
I know you're going through a
whenever
tight,
it
you have
is good
exams,
time
etc.
for
that you're
this.
going, yeah.
I had 3 exams coming.
3 exams
Yeah.
coming up, yeah. So then another thing that keeps us happy is prasadam. So why don't we do some
Yes,
prasadam
we have
prayers now?
prasadam.
If you can, lead us to prasadam prayer, Prabhu. And
And thank you, Archana Mataji, for bringing lovely sweets today.
oh, is that right? Awesome, thank you. Thank
What's
you.
happening? She's going.
Some more prasadam.
Mahaprasade Govinde
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Namo Brahmani Vaishnave
Namo Brahmani Vaishnave,
Salpa Punyavitam Rajan
Salpa Punyavatam Rajan,
Vishwasa Naiva Jayate
Vishwaso Naiva Jayate,
Sharira Vidyaja
Sharira Vidyaja,
Jarendriya Tahika
Jyotindriya Tahika,
Jive Phele Vishaya Sagore
Jive Phele Vishaya Sagore,
তার মধ্যে জিভায়তি
তার মধ্যে জীবায়তি,
লোভময় সুদুর্মতি
লোভময় সুদুর্মতি,
তাকে যেতা কঠিন সংসারে
তাকে যেতা কঠিন সংসারে,
কৃষ্ণ বড় দয়াময়
কৃষ্ণ বড় দয়াময়,
পরিবারে জীবা যায়
পরিবারে জীবা যায়,
সব প্রসাদ অন্ন দিল ভাই
সব প্রসাদ অন্ন দিল ভাই,
সেই অন্নামৃত পাও
সেই অন্নামৃত পাও,
রাধা কৃষ্ণ গুণ গাও
রাধা কৃষ্ণ গুণ গাও,
প্রেমে ডাকো শ্রী চৈতন্য নিতাই
প্রেমে ডাকো শ্রী চৈতন্য নিতাই,
জয় নিমায় জয় নিতাই
জয় নিমাই জয় নিতাই,
জয় শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য
জয় শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য,
প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ
প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ,
শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর
শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর,
শ্রীবাসাদি গৌর ভক্তবৃন্দ
শ্রীবাসাদি গৌর ভক্তবৃন্দ,
হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ
হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ,
কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে
কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে,
হরে রাম হরে রাম
হরে রাম হরে রাম,
রাম রাম হরে হরে
রাম রাম হরে হরে. Premanande, Hari Bol. Cool, thank you so much once again. So those who are in the room, our wonderful host, and as well as those devotees who are joining us online. Let's have prasadam now, and we'll stop the broadcast now. Hare Krishna.